Now, your knowledge of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means continuous. From Sanatan, in fact, the word Santan came from the word Sanatan. People want to have children so that their lineage or their gotra or their vansha continues. So in Sanatan Dharma, there is two kinds of literature. One is called Shruti, one category. The other one is called Smriti. In Shruti, we have 4 Vedas. We have Rig Veda. Sorry, this is reflecting this surface. We have Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and of course, the Atharva Veda. Rig Veda, it contains a collection of prayers, all stutis, hymns to various gods. Yajur Veda deals with how to offer or how to make offerings to gods, which also includes sacrificial offerings. Sam Veda they are mostly hymns from the Rig Veda, but in a musical form. They can be sung, not just recited. Hence Krishna said, of the Vedas, I am Sama Veda, because his song is the song of God, the song of life, Bhagavad Gita. And Atharva Veda deals with practical problems on a day-to-day basis. It has many tantra sadhanas, it has many incantations, many magical charms, and so on. Now, each Veda has further 4 parts. They are Samhita, which is once again the essential part of a hymn that are written in the Vedas. Brahmanas. Brahmanas are commentaries on the Vedas, written by various sages. Third is Aranyaka, or Aranyak. The word Aranya means forest. There was a time when the rishis, the sages, would congregate or would mostly spend their time on the outskirts of any city or in the forests. So there, in deep solitude, they would sometimes meet and talk about the Vedas, and they wrote commentaries or their perspectives on various Vedic hymns. That became what we currently known as Aranyakas. And then you have Upanishads. Upanishads form a dialogue, basically between a sage or somebody, a guru and a disciple, or a king who could be a seeker and somebody who's awakened. Upanishads were there to simplify the wisdom in the Vedas. Now, this is what forms what we know as Shruti. Shruti means that which is heard, from the word Shravan or Shra. Shravan, and Shra also means to be under somebody's guidance, Ashray. When you've taken somebody's refuge, such a person imparts knowledge to you, you say, I have now gotten Shruti. What is happening here is, in a way, is Shruti, living Shruti, transmission of live Shruti, because you are hearing and I'm speaking. This is exactly what Shruti is. This is exactly how the knowledge was imparted in the earlier times without microphones and auditoriums. Now, you have then Smriti. So Shruti forms the basis of Vedas. And then you have what we know as Smriti. Smriti means that which is memorized. And Smriti has 2 things, Vedangas and Upa-Vedas. Vedanga means the limbs of the Vedas. We'll get to that in a moment. And Upa-Veda means supplementary Vedas. In Upa-Veda, you have things like Gandharva Veda, which is music. You have Sthapatya Veda, which is sculpting. We have many scriptures just written on how to build temples, not just Vastu, but way beyond that. The art and the science of sculpting a vigraha so it contains the maximum energy, so it transmits the maximum energy. And then you have Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the knowledge of life. Everybody is familiar with Ayurveda. And then you have Dhanurveda, the art of war. This explains why, for example, Dronacharya, being a Brahmin guru, was still teaching these weapons, the use of weapons to Kshatriyas, because a guru was expected to know the Vedas and the Upa-Vedas and the Vedangas. In fact, if you pick up any classical text on mantra yoga or tantra yoga or any Samhita or Smriti which talks about the qualities of a guru, it is repeatedly written that the guru should know mantra, tantra, yantra and the Vedas. Now, the gurus of the modern age don't know the weapons, but they are good at fighting anyway. So that is Dhanurveda. Now, you know the 4 Vedas, which is Shruti. We just did that 4 Vedas have Samhitas, Aranyakas, Brahmanas, and Upanishads. And Upa-Vedas are Gandharva, Shilpa, and Ayurveda and Dhanurveda, which is part of Smriti. In Vedanga, there are 6 aspects. Anga means limb. The idea is that without the limbs, the body cannot really function. It can live, but it cannot act. So without a knowledge of the Vedanga, the basic premise behind this was, if you don't know Vedanga, you don't know Vedas. You won't be able to put those Vedas to use. Veda means wisdom. Veda means knowledge. Now, here are the 6 limbs. And you will know in a minute why we are covering all this. First is Shiksha. There are 6 aspects, 6 Vedangas, 6 limbs. The first limb is called Shiksha. Shiksha lays down the rules for phonetic perfection. Simply put, how you're going to put emphasis on which swara, how long, what is the phonetic precision you have to follow for that particular sound. And it contains Akshara Shuddhi, the letter purification, Swara Shuddhi, the sound purification, Mantra Shuddhi, and Balam, how much articulation, force of articulation needs to be there, Samam, how much evenness needs to be there. So, Harihi Om Sam Ano Bhadraha Sam Kratavo Jantu Vishvato Davadhaso Aparita Sa Udvedaha. This was articulation, Balam, where I deviated from Samam for a moment and went into Balam. And of course, Sanatana. This was continuity. What I just said had full continuity. There was no sound of stopping it due to any inhalation or exhalation. In other words, phrasing of the Vedic hymns. Now, second is called Kalpa. Kalpa deals with all the rituals. Like we say, how many vessels should be there when a certain yajna is done, when it should be done, who can do that ritual, what all rituals it entails. Because Vedic Dharma, across all the 16 samskaras, before even somebody is born, even before Garbhadhan to all the way to Marana, to death, Vedas were an integral part of our culture. In fact, the only culture that existed here was the Vedic culture. People prayed to Kula Devtas, their regional deities. People could be Vaishnavites, could be praying to Vishnu, could be Shav praying to Shiva, could be Shakt praying to Devi, could be Saur praying to Sun, could be Ganpatya praying to Lord Ganpati. But regardless, the basis was the Vedas. The hymns were taken from the Vedas and Vedas alone. So in Vedanga, we have Shiksha, we have Kalpa, and we have Vyakarana, which is grammar. It's pretty self-explanatory. Without grammar, we would speak the wrong language. And fourth aspect is called nirukta, which is dictionary or thesaurus, or if you want to see which words to use, then you would consider nirukta. Now, if you reflect on it, you will discover that before the Vedas came to be revered the way they are done today. When we think of Vedas, we think of some great books. We have to bow down to put them in a red cloth and just do agarbatti and say, now, I'm a Hindu, or I know the Vedas. Before this mindset got developed due to ignorance, Vedas were the primary curriculum in all the schools in this country. When children went to schools for education, for gurukulas, they studied the Vedas there. And this is what the Vedas contained. They would study Niruk, they would study Kalp, they would study, Vyakaran. And the fifth aspect is Chanda. Chanda is meter, means how many syllables need to be there, what is going to be the arrangement of certain verses and hymns that they were going to recite. Today, most of it has no application in our real lives. But if we are interested in learning the Vedas, if you're interested in delving deep into your lineage, then this is something you would have to get familiar with over time. Now, we have covered Shiksha, Kalp, Nirukt, Vyakaran, Chand. The sixth aspect, Vedanga, is Jyotish. If you know Jyotish, you know one aspect of the Vedas. If you don't know Jyotish, you don't know that Vedic aspect.